guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. My name is Josh Ansley, and today I just want to talk about the challenges and the difficulties that come up when you really start living your truth, right? And actually, more accurately, when you start speaking your truth is actually when it can come up a lot too. There's a lot of roadblocks and challenges within ourselves to make sure that we're actually on that higher path. It's that balance beam, right? The tightrope. Because how do we actually find the ability to stay true to ourselves and not get whipped around by other people's opinions, and not to get whipped around by our own opinions and our own thoughts and the way we think it should be, right? And that's why for me it was important to understand the nature of the mind, to be doing studies of understanding how the mind works, that the mind goes towards its likes, avoids its dislikes, like I talk about all the time, or goes towards its pleasure and avoids its pain, goes towards comfort, avoids discomfort, so that I can recognize when I'm operating in the mind. It doesn't mean that I can't do what the mind wants, but it's got to be regulated by something higher, and that's the trick, how to listen to higher levels of ourselves, right? And to know how to stay into that. Because it's not, in my opinion and experience, it's not, again, opinion, it's my opinion, got to be watch out for that shit, but in my experience, right, which is now bringing my opinion, it's not always so black and white. It's really not black and white at all. And that it can be in a space where we have to do some things that maybe we would think would be wrong typically. It's wrong things for right reasons, right things for wrong reasons, right? When we're really listening to a deeper sense of self. It's like, for example, like I'm working on this book called Fuck God, right? Spiritual Guide for Assholes, Atheists, and Intellectuals. Now, I've been catching some flack for that sort of mentality and that sort of attitude because certain people just turn off when they hear that kind of language and that kind of behavior and what that is, Other people are like, yeah, that's awesome. And they're maybe then willing to listen to a different message that they wouldn't hear if it were just handed in this, nice little package of like God. Nobody wants to not nobody, sorry, there's a lot of people that do. But there's a lot of people that also want nothing to do with the word God. God has been killing people since the beginning of mankind, right? So, I work with a lot of programs that are spiritual programs that people need help, and they come in and they hear God and they're like, whoa, fuck this. And they go out and they're dying because they're not getting the help they need. Now, you could blame that on them because their inability to accept God in their fucking life or some bullshit like that, right? Or you can just recognize that they're actually intelligent people that aren't hearing the message because it's not putting out in the same way. So I'm catching a lot of flack for my message, which is fine. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, to stay true to myself, and not just because I want to, and am I willing to look at why I'm doing what I'm doing? And the how. Why am I doing that how? Why does it have to be that message? And no, it doesn't have to be that message, And I'm fully aware that 10 years from now, I could be like, oh, I was just a young, rash, brazen, youth, even though I'm not fucking very young, but, relatively. So, but getting into a space of recognizing that can change, and to be willing to admit that I am absolutely wrong, that I could be totally, quote unquote, wrong, is when we're not operating in that right and wrong, though, right? Because I happened recently where I got a lot of flack for it, and I was told that shouldn't be maybe a part of this program that I'm a part of, and that if I ever, that what I'm sharing is wrong and dangerous, and that if I was ever going to share like that I should not come back, that I'm not welcome back there, which is kind of fucked up if you ask me, because part of the tenets of the program is that nobody can tell somebody that they're not supposed to be there, right? So that's dangerous, but hey, but I'm willing to look at myself and reassess, right? But not allow myself to be wiped around, by this other person's thoughts and opinions because they know what worked for them, right? So when we start really speaking our truth, and I look at my higher self and say, whatever it is, this message that I think I'm supposed to be putting out there, right? Like, where did this even come from? Where did this sort of shtick, this mentality even come from? I don't know. As I started doing the work, I started getting deeper into myself, and look, there's studies that show that, I'm going to get into that another time, but, so I don't know where it came from, right? But it's coming out from a deeper sense of the work that I'm doing, right? And I see the way people are responding to it. And I gotta say, I gotta keep myself in that space of, not just doing it for ego and not doing it because I think it's what I want to do and it's fucking shock value and it's cool, and, is there really value to what I'm doing? Am I really helping in some way? and check back in on that and make sure that I look at where that other information is coming from, where that person is coming from, and can I approach them with love? Forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? God, if you want to use the word God, forgive them, for they know not what they do, or just forgive them. I forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? And recognize that if I'm going to stay on this path, if I'm going to speak and live my truth, people will feel threatened by that. For many reasons, and I don't know all of them at all, but I can see a few. And a few might be fear of loss, like maybe they see you changing and that they're afraid that they're going to lose you in that relationship that they have and that the way they have it, set for themselves and their expectations of you. Or maybe you start to show them that they're not living their truth, and on some sort of deep subconscious level, there's not even an overt jealousy, but a space of them feeling like recognizing that on their deeper soul self that they're not following that you're starting to live a deeper truth. And just make sure that you recognize when you're doing this to other people too, when they start living their truth, right? Don't twist it around because just because you think that it's not their truth, that's where they need to be right now. So maybe they need to be assholes right now. Maybe that's their path, right? Part of their path might be that they need to learn to set boundaries and just say no, period. And you want an explanation. They don't have to fucking give you an explanation or whatever, So make sure that you're not the other person on the other side. Thinking that you needed to have your way when they're starting to actually find how to operate in their own deeper sense of truth, right? Even if it might be fucking bullshit, who knows? So what is it? What do we need to do? What do we need to find in our lives to be able to resonate into our deeper truth and stay in that space? What practices can we bring in to keep ourselves, whether it be meditation or yoga or some, it doesn't have to be some sort of physical practice, but how can we remind ourselves to make sure that we are checking in and be honest enough to take a look at ourselves and see that if we are actually still living from that space or if it's kind of changed, because what that space is today is different from what it's going to be from tomorrow. So if tomorrow, are we still holding on to that space of truth that we found yesterday, thinking that it's still the truth for today? So we have to check in daily to see, are we really still operating in this truth? Because our truth is today is going to be completely different. So maybe 10 years from now, like I said, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that first book, fuck God. Like, no, sorry about that. I was, and I won't really necessarily apologize for it because it would be where I was at. And the message needs to be heard. And I know it's a positive, powerful message that is getting through to people in some way. And because I'm getting feedback from that. So I know that. And it's also ruffling a few feathers. Now, I don't want to go in and actually, disturb the minds of the ignorant. I don't want to cast my pearls in front of swine lest they be trampled in the mud. But I go back in there, at least for right now, to help other people that are getting something out of my message. And I will stick true to that. And I will stay true to that as much as I can every possible day. And that may change, like I said, But so can I stay true to my deeper self, day by day, minute by minute, second by second, breath by breath. In the Keshe, I am you, you are me. Namaste. What? Too much?